All right, well, welcome back, everyone. We're talking up today again in this playlist about using analytics to improve your sales funnel. And we're going to be focusing on the whole purpose of getting analytics tools set up, getting your account set up. And that is to actually get to the stage where you're looking at the data and you want to be able to turn that data into a story that you can use to improve your sales funnel and your business. And so today, Irene Pollak from Rumble Media is going to be showing you the very basic things that you want to be looking for when you're looking at that data so that you can understand what it means and then get the most out of it and make the most use of it. Irene, over to you.
Okay, so we're going to use this slide just to explain a little bit about what we've done and what's the final step. So we've done the planning by asking the right questions, looking for the information, and then having, deciding what's the actions we'll take from that information. So that's your plan stage. Your build stage is building out, well, first setting up your analytics, then building out your goals and your funnels. And now we want to check in on what information that's giving us. And especially if you are posting in Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever your social platform is, you want to see, am I moving the needle in my business? And a key thing about reports is that when you look at them regularly, you will notice a difference like that. It'll stand out. You know, it's something that you do as a habit will actually make you start asking better questions of your website and the information you're getting from it. And also too, what else could you be doing? Like it just helps you think about your website rather than this static thing. Once it's built, you set and forget it. There is the whole rule of reporting is optimization and forecasting. But for most people, optimization is just where you're going to sit for a long time to make sure that you get it right, especially in those first couple of years. So we're going to go over to our analytics and we're going to look at a few reports that we've set up based on the basic GTM setup, as well as some of the goals we've set up and some segments. Now, we haven't shown you segments. You're going to have to go over and watch the free analytics training to see that in greater detail. But what you want to do is you want to come over here, and these are reports I've already built. So these are some key reports that I think are very, very useful. You want to see who's low, mid, and high. That's a behavioral tracking that we set up in analytics. And I love this on 2 different occasions. I want to have a look at where am I losing people on my website. This is something that you just do to change it. You know, I like having, it was a little bit confusing having the high number there. So what I did was we've got the same segments here, left to right, showing top to bottom down here. And now what this does is this shows you that all users, we had all users on Rumble Media, my homepage. 17 of those were low, 14 were mid, and 12 were high. So I'm going to look at that and say, you know what, my homepage is doing all right. People are scrolling to the bottom, and high means they're on my website for at least 45 seconds because there is a lot of information on my homepage for people to read through. So what it will tell you is where you are losing people on each page. So, and what you are looking for, even though mine has a low, that's only a week. So you want to expand, if you want more data, expand it out over a longer period. This is a new analytics account, so there's not going to be a lot in there. So it's only kind of coming in from November 5th. So we'll go back to there and we will see what patterns and trends we're seeing there. So there's no real big drop off happening on any of them. No, but if we look at our homepage now, it's saying we had 70 visitors start, but only 50% get to the bottom. That's still a good percentage. If you've got a 50% success rate, I'm taking that as a win. So there's a lot more to do, but this is a really good, so if you're looking at the pages in your funnel, this is a great way for you to diagnose where you're losing people. So if you've got the funnel goals set up, what you can do is you can choose, you can look in then on, you can come in here and you can just go, no, I won't do that. It's too complicated. Anyway, so that's one report that I really, really use a lot. It's so key to finding little quick wins, actually major wins.
Okay, Irene, can you just explain how to actually get to that report? Because we're talking about people who have never used this before.
Yeah.
And so how do people go from the home button through to this report?
Okay. So when you build reports, and those ones, whenever the building of the reports needs to happen in the report section. So if you want to find out about audiences, you will build a report in there. So if you want to see, and I don't find this one useful, so I'm going to, the main one what I find useful is acquisition. So if these were the only 2 reports that you built in your analytics, this is how you build them. So you would come in here and you want to know source medium. We always want to know how's our channels performing, and to identify that, you need to be in source medium. And then the reason why I find this one really cool, and we have got it set up under here, that we have it so that it's source medium, low, mid, high, and landing page, low, mid, high. The low, mid, high is not something that's out of the box. It's something that's built in the basic GTM container that Rumble Media sells on our website. But this, I have built this container so that you get this pivotal piece of information, because even if all you did was have a basic GTM setup, this would give you crucial information for the first 2 years of your business. And yeah, you will save money from it. That's my headspace behind it. I always think about, what about me 20 years ago when I started my first website? Would I have thrived with this information? And it was a hell yeah. So I built this into the basic GTM container. Now, what you can check just in this one report: source acquisition, all traffic, source medium. Now, what I've done is up here, this is what you call segments, and segments are built in a way that you can, I've got the segment training, I'm not going to go into it in great detail, but this is something that I built as an event tracking in Google Tag Manager. And I've done a custom, what I think is a high engagement based on time and scroll behavior. And so then I have that as part of it. I've used a condition segment to make it so that I can actually track this kind of event tracking that I've got set up in Google Tag Manager. And then what you can do here is it shows you acquisition, it shows you behavior, the bounce rate, pages, session, average session. And this part here is where your goals come into play. So whichever one, so it tells you that from my direct none, I've had 2 completions from people at low mid, so I'm going to say that's the same people, or that's the same session. And this one I had 1 from high. So it's, this page is doing, out of those 2 people that did some kind of goal, that one of them was a high engaged user and one of them was a mid engaged user. So I'm getting little increments of insights about my pages. So that's why I love this report. I love it. I just think it is so important. So the next one, and then what you do when you've got this set up, your segments, all you do is you put your segments up here, you go into acquisition source medium, all traffic source medium. And once you built it, because this one's already saved, you just hit the floppy disk symbol up there in the right hand corner of your screen. And once you hit saved, it will populate over here into customization and saved reports. So when you come into your analytics on Mondays or Fridays or whenever or Sunday night, you come in here and you will have a look at the reports that you've done, all traffic, landing pages, and I've got one that's funnel steps. But those ones are, that is where you find your key reports that you want to build, that you have built. Now, the next one that is the landing pages, low, mid, high. So to build that one, it's site content, landing pages, and then you have the same, so that's why I would do them at the same time. You've got your segments set up, and then you see your low, mid, high. And this is we do this, we do these tags called journey tracking, where we will segment out a page into 5 different segments where we track behavior based on what's on the page. This is a loose version of that, but it gives a lot more useful indicator of what's happening on your pages. So this is what the beginner's tracking looks like for me from GTM, and it's a very, very, very powerful tool. So those are your 2 points. You want to know which platform is working and how are your landing pages performing when they come there. Those are my 2 key reports every startup and small business should have, and you can make some really smart, effective marketing decisions with those 2.
Okay, one more question for you, Irene, and that is that on the home page here in Google Analytics, you get onto the home screen and you see all of this stuff, and maybe just quickly explain just what each of those components are for and what they could pay attention to and what they can ignore.
This kind of gives an overall simple view of some key pieces of information for your business. So this will tell you, this will always have a comparison. So it will say, hey, this is the solid blue line is this week's data. The dotted line is last week's information. And this is a real-time report. There is a real-time report over there. So generally what it's doing is it's giving you the overview reports that are in the left-hand column. It's kind of giving them to you all in the one page. So it's like a mini Google Data Studio report for the basics of what you want to know. Where are my people coming from? What are they doing on what times of day? What is the source medium and referrals? Which pages did they visit? Is there an up? How am I trending? How am I changing? What are they using? So when you're building your website and you're building a new page, what are you looking at to optimize? Do I need to look at tablet? No, I don't. Most of my people come from desktop and mobile. So when I'm changing things on my page, I will make sure that I have the optimization done on both mobile and desktop. And then what this is really cool. This tells you your retention, what are your return visitors looking like? And I've got a really good return visitor rate, 14%. So, and I do pixel myself, I cookie myself and exclude myself from any of the tracking. So I know this is real information. And then it also tells you how are your goals performing. I've actually set some really high level goals. So I've got to go back and build my basic goals. So I've started with, this is my conversion and high engagement. Now I have to do smaller goals based on little incremental things. But I definitely use my reports that I've set up with low, mid, high to do a lot more of that. So how I use that is to make sure that my goals actually tell me something else that my reports don't. So I make sure that they have a different purpose. So yeah, it makes sense. Otherwise you're looking at goals that are low, mid, high, and it's showing you that you're having all these goals, but not really, they're just engagement. So that's why I keep my engagement goals in a report, and like as in my events and my segments. So I keep my engagement in my segments, and I keep my conversion and my awareness in my goals.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Irene. Really appreciate you sharing all of that knowledge with our viewers. And we'll have in the show notes or in the description below all of the information that they need to basically go to your website and find the free training that you've mentioned. Thanks again.
Thank you.